Longrow Red 11-year Pinot Noir cask matured. Should you grab one? Check out the Whiskey Whistle.
Hey everybody, why don't you come with me to the Scottish Highlands? It's going to be a blast.
Hey whiskey bums, Mark here from Whiskey Whistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, the center of North America. Bringing you Longrow Red, Pinot Noir cask matured, 11-year-old, 53.1% ABV. Let's get that poured. This was a selection from the third Winnipeg Whiskey Club Club Night called Copper Night 1. And this one I found from a friend. Hi, Jeff. All right, here we go. There we are. Nice 30 milliliters about. Very deep color for 11 years. Well, maybe that Pinot Noir cask has something to do with that. So here on Whiskey Whistle, we'll put that little hat on for a minute. Here on Whiskey Whistle, we check out the color of the whiskey, first of all. Then we check out the legs of Longrow Red 11-year. Then we'll check out the nose, the palate, and the finish for this very interesting whiskey. After that, we'll give it a Whiskey Whistle whiskey score, so stay tuned right till then. Now, if you notice what's in front here, the Whiskey Whistle Highland Malt Expedition that's coming up this November 10th to 18th. 9 days, 16 distilleries. Some of those you can see right here. If you'd like to check that out, then check out the link in the description there. All right, so the color. Maybe I'll give that a bit of a whiff first of all. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so color for Longrow 11 Pinot Noir cask matured. What do you see there for color? That's got a very dark hue, hasn't it? I want to say getting into the copper end of things. Anyway, a very beautiful shade, nice and dark. The darkest of the recent 4 Springbanks that have been running through here for you. So let's check the legs out now for Longrow 11. Pinot Noir cask matured. I believe it is 8 years in ex-bourbon and then 3 years in Pinot Noir casks. Okay, here we go. Very slow to develop. And they finally show themselves and they're coming out in brute force here. Definitely the slowest yet. And I think that may have something to do with the wine cask. Interesting. Yeah, nice leg show for sure. So we should have a nice mouthfeel. Thick, rich. This Longrow Red single malt Scotch whiskey has been matured for 8 years in bourbon barrels, followed by 3 years in refill Pinot Noir barriques from acclaimed winemaker Grant Taylor's Valley Vineyards in central Otago, New Zealand. Isn't that cool? So they even mention the region from where the wine came. Only 9,000 bottles at cask strength will be available. Well, there we go. I'm right. It's cask strength. As this whiskey is not chill filtered, a natural haze may form when it is cold, but this will disappear when the temperature returns to normal. And a little bit about Longrow. First distilled in 1973, Longrow is a double distilled, heavily peated single malt produced at Springbank Distillery in Campbellton. This malt is peat dried for up to 48 hours to give the whiskey a unique Campbellton style smoky character. And that's right, they also operate their own malting floors. So they malt their own barley. So we'll check out the nose, the palate, and the finish, and then we'll give it a Whiskey Whistle whiskey score. And yeah, very, very nice. And I love knowing that that's from a very unique New Zealand whiskey. New Zealand wine, pardon me. Cool stuff. for what I know from Longrow, it doesn't have as in your face a peat as others that I've tried. I've tried the basic Longrow, and I had the Longrow Gaia Barolo. It was a 7-year-old whiskey way back when. That's going back about 4 years, practically. Three years, I guess. 3.5 years ago. And it had a much peatier nose than this. This has a very sweet nose. It's got beautiful red fruits. Strawberry. A little bit of raspberry jam. And the peat is just a little bit of an undercurrent here. So I wonder, maybe that was a more lightly peated batch of barley malt, pardon me. It's just such an engaging nose. And you get vanilla custard, kind of like glacé cherries, a little bit of what's it called again? Lowry's cherry something. I think that's a Canadian thing. What was that? And I keep meaning to get one so I can show it to you next time, since I'm back in Canada. And the peat is just kind of like a light, clean wood fire. So nicely dried wood, no bark, burning nice and clean. And you get that just that nice sort of warm, slightly smoky sort of event happening. And with this one, I highly recommend smelling that with your mouth slightly open. And there is kind of a slight tobacco, almost like a wine-dipped cigar happening there. I can't say that I'm smelling Pinot Noir. In fact, I don't have a good enough wine nose to tell a Pinot Noir from any other nice red wine. The more I smell it, the more I'm getting a bit of candy. Those kind of like foam candies from Haribo that have the little bit of jelly inside. I have a sweet tooth, I have to confess. Well, I think I've smelled enough. Let's check the palate out here. I'm really excited to try this again. Cheers, everybody. Isn't that cool? You get a really strong beginning of the palate, and then it crescendos into a unique event towards the end of the palate. And a supremely nutty, luscious, walnutty, slightly umami, the savory note coming through in the finish here. And what a finish. Supremely nutty. smoky, nutty, sweet, delicious, slightly salty. Mm. Mm. So what you do when you've got it in your mouth, you swallow a little bit of it, keeping the rest in your mouth, and you get this really unique extra flavor moment happening there. "11 years. Now, I have not tried any of the older Islay whiskeys like Ardbeg 21, 22, 23, whatever those were. I got to tell you, this actually has a very old, aged, well-mature flavor about it. It's 11 years going on 22. Beautiful, engaging nose. Even somebody who doesn't like peat will enjoy this. The palate is just incredible. Oh. And 53%. If this was my bottle, I would probably not add water very much to this. But this is what I do, and I'm going to add a little bit and see what happens. And I think this only needs about 1 little teaspoon, so about 1 milliliter into 20. I'm having a serious malt moment here. This is so good that you will not think of anything else while you're tasting this. I'm not even sure that you could have a conversation and drink that at the same time. You would get lost because of the disalarming and attention diverting flavor that's in that bottle. Ooh. I don't know if you know what I'm getting at here, but this is just mind-blowing. So should you get one? Absolutely. Can you get one? Maybe not. Could you get one at auction? Absolutely, you could. I'm sure there's going to be 100, if not 500 of these showing up at auction in the UK. Maybe not that many, because I think they're allocated. But it seems that everything just sort of ends up back there, you know? Freshly baked, nicely browned raisin pie with a little bit of cherry garnish. Oh, it's like a bakery. It's like a bakery that knows what they're doing, an artisanal bakery where they know that when they bake something, that it has to brown, or like a chef who knows that no matter what, vegetables, meat, it has to get a little bit of that Maillard reaction happening. I guess that's for meat only. Caramelization for vegetables. This might just be one of the greatest whiskeys of the modern time. And I think there's been so many changes to all whiskeys, largely because of cask issues. Springbank Distillery chose to circumvent those issues and find casks in places where maybe other people didn't or didn't want to pay for. And in 11 short years, they have created an old school whiskey at cask strength. They've created a whiskey while only 11 years old that actually really seems more like 22. So incredible. Hats off to them for being able to put this together. And it really goes to show you that there are some whiskeys today that are really sticking to old school methods. Now, the wine cask, of course, that's a bit different, but boy, it just really brings this just beautiful everything together here. Okay, the nose with water. I get everything just like before. Interestingly, a little bit of added that eucalyptus note. So you get some baking notes here. On the palate with water. Everything as it was. Slightly more accessible. A little bit less astringency. Baked goods notes coming into the palate as well. That baked pie. Walnuts still very prominent here. Oh, I tell you. Just incredible. You don't need much water. In fact, you don't need any water at all. I'm just doing this as an exploratory process to see what happens. I'm loving that slightly umami note coming through here. And I guess that's coming from those very interesting barriques. I wonder where the wood is from. Almost like a raspberry pie. Red fruits. That walnut. So mouth coating. Such an extremely long finish. The peat is there. It's an undercurrent. The peat is really the secondary story for this whiskey. The Pinot Noir cask is the thing that's really showing itself. The bourbon casks have done a good job of generically maturing the whiskey for 8 years. The Pinot Noir casks in 3 years took this from 8 to 22. Beautiful. Oh, man. Whoa. I need another taste. Should you bid on this at auction? Absolutely. Get a few bottles. I paid about 170 Canadian for this. I would be okay paying 300 for that at auction, knowing that it's as good as it is, and that I like it so much, and I think everybody who likes even just an ounce of peat will appreciate this. And oh, just gorgeous. Oh, I just can't even. I can't even think. It's so great. Well, I think you know where I'm going with this. I think we got to finish that. Cheers. Oh, hi, Horst. Just so kapow! It's just oh, I'm having malt explosions all over my body here. Thankfully, I'm clothed. Well, let's get on the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Longrow Red 11-year Pinot Noir cask matured. What is that going to be? Well, folks, the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Longrow Red limited edition Pinot Noir cask matured, aged 11 years, 8 years in bourbon, 3 years in Pinot Noir casks, Pinot Noir barriques, pardon me. First of all, give it a malt hug. Oh. Hats off to Springbank Distillers. Great job. Well, folks, can you believe it? 95 out of 100. You heard it. 95 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Longrow Red. Incredible stuff. That is the best whiskey I have ever had to date. And I've had a lot of great whiskeys. This is the finest I've ever had. The Hazelburn 14 was not far behind. In fact, only a point. Springbank 10, a solid 90 points. Springbank 14, 85. So, yeah, get that at auction if you can. Look for it in whiskey shops that are off the beaten track. See if you can find one of those. I highly recommend it. If it pops up on, say, Whiskey Exchange, grab one. Oh, and a shout out to my friend Jason. Hey Jason, how you doing? Jason Vezwani from Jason Whiskey Wise. He has taken a job with the Whiskey Exchange as their old and rare, I think, a buyer. So that's really cool. Try to get some of those, Jason, if they're gone already. Well, folks, hope you enjoyed that one. Click the emblem right over here to subscribe to WhiskyWhistle. Click the bell above so that you're notified of the future WhiskyWhistles coming out. There's lots of them. Ring that bell, ding, ding, ding. And if you happen to be in Winnipeg, join the Winnipeg Whiskey Club. And even if you're only in sometimes for business, then check out the Winnipeg Whiskey Club and Friends group on Facebook. And if you're really enjoying what I'm doing here on WhiskyWhistle, then join the WhiskyWhistle crew on Patreon. Patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle, okay? Check me out there and stay tuned for what's next. Can I find something better than this Longrow Red? How long will it take? It might be years, I wonder. Let's find out. All right, take care, everybody. Goodbye now. Thanks for watching Whiskey Whistle. Be sure to subscribe and don't forget to give this video a like and leave a comment down below. Be sure to stay tuned next time to join me, the host of the show, Mark, as I explore more whiskeys with you. Take care now, and we'll see you next time.